She's just, but we're here. We are here. We are here. We are here. We are here. Hello, everyone. This is the voice and face of Dr. Olabintan. Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday. Have you ever wondered how to have conversations with your daughter about puberty and the changes? You remember how awkward it was when you discover yours, or maybe your parents didn't tell you stuff that you wish they did. Well, we're having conversations to help with how to talk about puberty with your girls. So if you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay. I am honored. I am excited to have on our guest today. This is our second time doing a live together, right?
This is, yes. This is number two. This is round two.
All right, awesome, awesome. So Dr. Loretta Duggan, she's an amazing human. And I'm going to let her introduce herself to you. She's all over the globe. She is, I'm a big fan of hers. I love what she does. I wish I had someone like you when I was growing up. All right.
Me too. I wish I knew me when I was coming through too.
All right, Dr. Loretta, kindly introduce yourself. Who are you, what you do, and why you do the things you do.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me this evening. And hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Loretta Duggan. I'm trained in family and adolescent medicine. And I'm also the owner of Her Health, which is a medical practice here in Athens, Georgia. With Her Health, we focus on 11 to 26-year-olds to help them confidently embrace their menstrual, their reproductive, and their sexual health needs so that they can live the life that they choose. And one of the really reasons why I ultimately decided to work with this group is because it was such a struggle for me when I was coming through, figuring out things about my body being awkward and long and all the things. And then on top of that, having to deal with painful periods that were really heavy too. So I really want to bring this to my patients, bring it to the audience today, and have some period talk.
All right. So you did it more from, your pain point.
Exactly. Yep. With my period, struggling with it. And it wasn't until like decades later that I learned it was a different way that I can handle my own periods, and really having that empowerment, that knowledge. It was just eye-opening and enlightening. And I knew that while I was learning it as a doctor, if I didn't know, then I knew it was so many other people who didn't know as well. So puberty leading to periods, all of them kind of tie in together. And so that's why I'm so excited for this conversation today.
Man, you sound so like you're oozing joy as you're talking about this. Is
yes, we need to know. The public needs to know. Yes.
All right. So if someone is 26.5, you can't 26.5 years old, you can't talk to them.
Well, it's always an exception. So we take it case by case. We don't want to just turn them off and loose. We'll always, consider possibly going over 26.
All right, cool. Now, what is the right age to start talking to our girls, to my daughter, let's say, about puberty?
Yes. So thinking about ages, it may be a little bit earlier than you think. A lot of us, like you and I coming through, we may have started around 11, 12, 13 years old with puberty and changes. For other young girls now, it's closer to 8 and 9 years old. So really starting these conversations earlier is going to be key, where we're talking about their actual body parts, giving them their actual correct names. And then also keeping them curious. If they have questions for us, we're not just going to brush it off and be like, oh, we'll talk to you about it later when you're older. No, we actually want to address it right then, right there, so that we can start building that trust, start building that foundation, so that when bigger things start to happen or come along, we want our voice to be the first voice that they think of, that they hear, that they can go to with other questions, because it's going to happen. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of when it comes to puberty. So starting those conversations early and often is going to be key.
Okay, start the conversation early and often. You mentioned the need to mention, the body part by name. Why is that important?
Yes. So we're so comfortable with other parts of our body, right? Our nose, our ears, our toes. And for some reason, we have that stigma around our reproductive system, but they're just as, if not more important than the other areas of our bodies as well, our heart, our
Mm,
lungs.
mm,
Okay, why is it that we can't mention the vulva and the parts that it's encompassed? Why is it that we're kind of shying away from when it comes to breasts and our breast health? These are all things that are just as important. Yes, knowing our bodies, knowing our counterparts' bodies too. What is a penis? So, and it could be that in our minds, we're going deeper than it has to go,
mm.
right? For
Okay.
someone who's a preteen, teen, or even younger,
Mm.
they may be literally just asking, what is that? They don't want to know deeper
Obviously. All right.
than where we're trying to go, what we're thinking. They literally just want to know. So you can tell them, okay, for instance, a child may ask, okay, where does the baby come from?
Okay.
And we are ready to go in deep with sperm and eggs, and they come together. And literally, it could be as simple as, okay, the baby comes through the vagina. What would you like to have for dinner? We're going on to the next thing because we're going to normalize
Normalize. Okay.
having this conversation when it comes to our bodies and all of its parts.
And as the parent, I think is a good thing that conversation happens with you because it's established it as a safe space to have those conversations, and you want
Yeah,
to be the first voice, like you said earlier, for that conversation. It's like, how come my mom didn't tell me that? Or it must be something we don't
that's
talk about.
wrong.
So,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So we're talking about puberty. What are the first signs of puberty that one should be looking out to say, hey, it's time? For what are signs in girls particularly?
Yes. So physically,
Mhm.
one of the first things that we may see is breast development. They may have breast buds that are starting to form. It may be time to talk about bras, or you may have already started that conversation earlier. But one of the first things that you're going to see is breast development. And then from there, or they're all working together, you may notice hair in different places. So underneath the arms, in the growing area. These things are all happening together. Now they're starting to get taller than you. They're looking at you in your eyes now. But one of the first things will be breast development. And I say physically because they may already have been exposed in some way
Mhm.
to what's coming with their body. So they may actually start asking questions earlier than when we see the actual breast development. And again, that's okay too, because it's going to start that conversation and laying that foundation for them. So now when they get to breast development, they're like, okay, when we were in the store, when I was younger, we would talk about bras all the time. So this isn't nothing new to me. Now it's just my turn
Mm.
to experience this and pick out and size my bra right that's perfect for me and my body and my shape as it grows and changes.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Now, the kids are, blushing and they're like, oh, they feel a little embarrassed about the changes. So funny. I remember when I had my period, I actually went to school without saying goodbye to my dad. I was so embarrassed. Like, oh my gosh. But
Right.
how do we normalize it in the context of having conversation without making our daughters feel embarrassed? Like, oh my gosh, this is weird.
Yes, and it was weird for us too, probably, right? So we had that awkwardness that we went through, or just not knowing exactly who we can turn to or go to. Is this something that I talked to my mom about? Did I talk to my sister, my cousin? When do I need to go to the doctor and tell them what's going on? So really, it's a time that we want to normalize for them, preparing them, knowing what's coming down the line. What is a period? It's something that's going to come every month. I know one mom told me that her daughter thought after that first one that she was done. And so when it came the second month, she was like, "What is this? I thought we were finished." And it's like, "Oh no." And so that was a whole conversation for them to have, for her daughter to understand, no, this is going to be every month for a few decades.
Mhm. Okay.
For many, many years to come, if it's coming normally. And so really starting to normalize that conversation so that they know with our periods are actually healthy. Periods are actually normal. We want them to come
Mhm.
every month because that lets us know our body is doing exactly what we expect it to do. It's growing and progressing exactly the way we expect it to do. And I think of it like them becoming more independent. So they're picking out their own clothes, they're doing their chores. Those are things they can control, right?
Mm.
When it comes to puberty and periods, they can't control it per se, but they can still have a sense of what comes along with it
Mm.
so that they can adjust accordingly to it and ask questions as they come up along the way too.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good one. Now, um, how do you advise for the parent who's like, oh, I was going to be the first one. I wanted to be the first one, but the daughter is like already getting information from friends and the
Mm.
internet. And what's your advice to the parent who's like, I'm supposed to be the one to say it first? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, we're in a totally different day and time. The internet has changed all the things and everything for us. They don't come out with the screen per se, but as
Hmm.
soon as they're almost able to hold it, they have some type of screen like that's in front of them. So how can we get ahead of the screen time when it comes to puberty and the changes that are going to come along with it? And that's why it's so important to start early and start often
Often.
with these conversations. Most likely their peers, they've already been talking about it. Most likely with the internet, they may have started searches about it. But what's important is to keep that line of communication open. So when they have questions, we're not just shutting it down, we're not just putting it on the back burner, but we actually are providing answers. And if it's something that you do need to look up, let them know that it's something that you all want to look up together. With the internet, it can go left, right, sideways real quick, especially when it comes to body parts and asking and wanting to know about parts of our bodies. We know that that can go south, that can go negatively really easy. So with that, yes, having parental guardrails in place, but also letting them know, okay, this is something we can talk about together, and this is something that we can search together as well. So we can choose reputable sites that can be used. There's certain curriculums and courses about
Mm.
puberty that are available as well. So really being that advocate for them, but letting them know that together you all can do it safely as well.
Now, is there a place for dad in this conversation? What would you say to that? Um,
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Dads play a huge role in this as well. It's not just about what mom or auntie or anyone else that may be a female figure can bring to the conversation, but also dads as well, because they're so important in building that self-esteem, building that confidence. If they say, baby, you're beautiful, and they're telling you that every single day, then you know that, hey, no matter what comes my way, my daddy said I'm beautiful. So I am beautiful. And knowing how to be treated in your relationships. What is a healthy relationship? What does that look like? It may be like, okay, it's a 78-year-old and daddy's already opening the door for her, where he's already setting the expectation. Anybody that comes behind him is going to have to do the same thing. So, really building that confidence, that self esteem. And I'll even go so far as to say, too, is being a part of the conversation when it comes to consent, when it comes to permission, who has access to my body, who should I allow access, and
mm,
who should not
mm,
have access to it. And here is why. And being respectful of those boundaries, they can absolutely help when it comes to those conversations and empowering their girls, empowering their daughters to be their best beautiful selves.
I love it. I love it. Um, Now, what if the girl who is like, "Mom, everybody's having a period, and I'm still waiting, and oh my gosh," and everybody's talking about how it feels like, and people are wearing bras, and my boob's not. What do you say to that parent on how to advise the daughter?
Yes, we absolutely have those called late bloomers. sometimes. And just like we have our early bloomers, that can be very stressful. Our late bloomers, it can be stressful as well. Because, like you said, everyone has like surpassed them when it comes to the body image. And we think, okay, is this normally how people supposed to look? Why is my chest still flat? Or why don't my pants fit a certain way? But our bodies, they're so beautiful because they all evolve, they all grow at their own pace and their own race. And so that is something that's important to know, or to let your daughters know, is that everyone isn't going to run the same race. Everybody's journey into this next part of life, it won't look the same. It won't be the same for everybody. That could be a perfect time where, if you were a late bloomer, you can let them know how you dealt with that aspect as well, and how eventually you caught up to everybody else too. And so really making it relative, talking about your experience that you may have had as well, that can really go a long way.
Okay, thank you. So normalizing that too, and okay. Now, what about the mood swings and the emotional changes that come? Any tips on how to address the irritability and the PMS and the attitude that comes with some of this?
Yes. So I would say, officially, we talked about breast budding being one of the first signs physically that's seen. I would say, anecdotally and unofficially, the mood changes, or a lot of the things that parents mention that they see first,
Mm,
sometimes even before the body's changing, as well. And so with that, again, having the conversation, starting with yourself. Maybe you have that time of the month where, I just need at least this one day to myself. I'm just going to take care of myself, take this time away. Mommy needs a break. And then let them know why. Why is that? And let them know that this may not be their future. This may not happen with them,
mm,
but it's something that can happen with ladies at certain times. That may also be a great time where, if they have already started their periods, they can start tracking their periods. So if they're tracking from one period to the next, the start of one period to the start of the next period, they may be able to say, okay, I'm about halfway through, just ovulated, and my moods are off the charts, off the chain. Okay, that can be a sign where it's hormonal changes going on that's affecting them, and they can pick up that pattern
mm.
to know and predict when it's actually coming, and they can plan accordingly around that. Now, you mentioned PMS. That's also something as well, PMDD, where it's a little bit more severe. So if they're super depressed, can't get out of bed, they're having thoughts of hurting themselves or anybody else, that is absolutely a time that we want you to seek medical help, to talk to their doctor, talk to a medical professional, so that they can figure out the best next steps for your child.
I like it. All right. I like it. I like it. I like it. So normalizing some of the changes that come with, and then of course, in extremes, I'll make sure you have a conversation with your doctor. You can go see Dr. Loretta, have those
Absolutely.
conversations as well. Now,
We're ready.
body image. It's a big one. My goodness. I mean, I remember too. But my goodness, my head looks this way, my arms. How do you encourage parents to talk about body image and self-esteem issues as the body changes? Any tips for parents?
Yes. And of course, it's no one size fit all. It will depend developmentally on where your child is, and you will know that best. I was thinking about just myself, how I was always the skinny kid, long and lanky. The pants were never long enough. The long sleeves were never long enough. Nothing would fit. And I remember talking to my mom about it, and she was like, "No, baby, you're beautiful and you're just petite." Now, keep in mind, I had no idea what petite was,
Mhm.
but I took it and I ran with it. That was enough for me to build my self-esteem and my confidence to like a whole nother level, where it didn't matter what anybody else was saying, because my mama said
I'm
I was
petite.
petite and I was
Right.
beautiful. And so again, it comes where your voice is what we're hearing, what they're hearing when they're running into these situations from time to time as their bodies are changing, because it's going to be almost an everyday thing, it seems like, with whether it's getting taller, whether it's the odor, whether it's adjusting the bra size. It's all going to continue to happen, whether we want to control it or try to control it or not. But really being that positive reinforcement, that is what is going to be so key to keep them moving in the right direction and staying positive.
I like that. We remain a voice because you just speak over them, remind them who they are.
Yes,
What I gotta tell you, I mean, compared to earlier years, the level of verbal bullying is something. I don't know.
it is.
Yeah, but we have a powerful voice over our kids, and so we should keep using it constructively and never get tired and feel like it's repetitive or it's powerful, and it needs to be, like you said, over and over again. Conversations need to happen often, and we should start it first. That's the same thing with speaking over them too. Your
Yes.
worth is beautiful, you're amazing, in every shape, size. All right. Thank you. Now, any books or resources, or what are your thoughts on the red? What's that red box thing? Like, cool, you can open a box. They have little different things for introducing the conversation with a child. They have, I forget the name of the one that's pretty common. It's like a red box. You buy this whole box and you open it.
Mhm.
Show them the sanitary pad and all the things. Are there any books, resources, or tools that you recommend to guide these talks when it comes to puberty?
Yeah, there are a couple that come to mind. One is both a book and they have a podcast as well. This is So Awkward. So they do a very good job going through a lot of the changes that are coming with puberty, and they have different curriculums like for schools as well. So that would be a great resource. Love their podcast also.
This is
Another,
awesome. It's funny.
this is awkward. Literally, it literally fits the bill, right? The other is called Girlology,
Okay.
and it's more so geared towards parents and have educating parents about how to have these conversations as well. And the last one that I really enjoy on Instagram is at the Period Doctor, where she's going through a lot of different like models and talking through this early age and how to care for their menstrual health, their hygiene health, while their body's changing as well.
All right. Awesome. I'm going to put that all in the chat so people have that for later to watch. This has been so rich. Doc, do you have any like success story, any patient feedback you gotten that made your heart really happy for those who are looking to say, I may need to come see you, and I wonder what it's like, having you as a doctor, or something around puberty. Any stories you like to share before we wrap up?
Yes. So one that comes to mind is a new patient, and I would definitely like to have one-on-one time when it comes to talking with my preteens, my teens, because you never know what may come out of these
Hmm.
conversations. And in the previous model of practice that I did, it wasn't a lot of time often for that. But
Hmm.
here I can. And one of the things both she and her mom mentioned was that they had never had, been allowed that one on one time. And I thought that was so big because they're going through so many changes, not just physically, but also emotionally, also socially, their peers that they're around, psychologically, how they're managing their emotions now. And to not have that time to express that, it really put that purpose. It helps
Mm.
to reinforce the purpose of why I do what I do, so that they can have that space to talk about these sensitive subjects and to feel safe. The other thing that I would say too is that I'm excited to offer a workshop style course about communication. So I'll be coming out with that very shortly for our parents so that we can continue these conversations, go deeper, talk about tips that are going to help us so we're not so uncomfortable when it
Mm.
comes to something that's going to be so natural and is
Mm.
going to happen.
I like it. Thank you. I love what you do, and I'm glad that this is available You're going to empower a lot of people and also help their self-esteem, even as they transition through the journey of puberty into all the things after. But Doc, I have people who are watching who are like, how do I connect with you? Where can I find you? Where can I have you come talk to a group of preteens or teens who are like, like where can people find you, Doc?
Yes, absolutely. Find me on all of your favorite social media channels and outlets. I'm on IG as well as TikTok and YouTube at Loretta Duggan, MD.
And you're on Facebook at Dr. Loretta Duggan.
Yep, Dr. Loretta Duggan dash her health. Yes, thank you. How can I forget about Facebook? Yes, we're on Facebook as well.
And her website is www.herhealthga.com. I put
That's
it in
right.
the comments. So we have an Instagram, TikTok. She's on TikTok. She's a TikTok and
Yes.
doctor. On YouTube. And I'll also put the Facebook link up or name as well. Doc, thank you so much for doing this. This has been very helpful. I have a preteen started a conversation with, so this is giving me tips also. So thank you for all you do. I appreciate you spending your time with us this evening.
Awesome. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me, and excited to help anyone going through and transitioning from their teens to their young adult years.
And when that comes out, if you could let me know and tag me so that way I can share for our viewers as well, so they can have that resource as well. But thank you again for coming. This was good.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We'll do this again. No pressure. I'll send you a link for a future date. I always like to ask live so you can't say no.
Yeah. No worries. I always love coming back. This is round 2. Round 3, right. We got this.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you. Oh, Chidima Wakchuku, thank you for watching. Please share. Those watching replay, those watching live, sharing is caring. Share this with those who could benefit from this conversation. And as always, if you or anyone you know is looking for a thorough and compassionate family physician in the Mansfield, Texas area, I am she. And if you're looking for a good doctor to talk preteen, teen, and she is she. We are she. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good one.